This video is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. So when we look back on our Pokemon journeys, there are undoubtedly many individual moments that serve as highlights. Often different journeys through different regions offer the same triumphs. Picking out and bonding with your first partner Pokemon, defeating a villainous organization or a godlike entity once and for all, and becoming the champion that you were always destined to be. But what about stretches of moments, whole chapters of your journey, not just an isolated moment here and there? Undoubtedly, the answer changes now, as each region offers different pacing in its different areas, with completely different opponents, Pokemon, and much more. That's what we're going to be examining today, going through each region in order and figuring out what stretch of your Pokemon journey offers that best feeling, that feeling of an emotional high, like this is where your journey is hitting its stride for one reason or another, leading to something that you'll never forget. This doesn't have to be the climactic moment, and in the case of today's entries, they're not. Rather, it's a collection of moments, story beats, battles, activities, captures that all add up to something special, because each region has one. Examining each region closely will reveal what makes them unique and special, so let's get it started. However, thinking deeply about the world of Pokemon like this, and in many of my other videos, makes me want to turn my ideas into something real sometimes. Like perhaps a video game. Have you ever thought about creating your own? I know I have. After all, one of my dreams would be to turn the Orova region project into some kind of Pokemon-like monster catching game. I'm sure many of you have thought about game concepts of your own as well, and luckily, there's a place where you can get the knowledge and experience to make it a reality, and turn it into an actual career with opportunities for growth. If that sounds exciting, then I am happy to tell you about today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU has one of the largest accredited non-profit online degree offerings in the country. They feature over 200 degree programs focused on getting a start or even an advancement on a career that you'll love. For example, let's talk about SNHU's game development program. In this program, you'll learn how to create realistic, dynamic gameplay experiences with game AI, game physics, 2D and 3D graphics, and interface design. You'll also learn computer programming languages like C++, C#, and Java. Plus, you'll learn 3D modeling and texturing with game art software. Courses are taught by industry experts who will teach you how to research, develop, and contribute to advancements and trends within the field of video game programming. Plus, all of SNHU's programs are extremely flexible. There are no set class times, allowing you to work where and when you want. If you started college but you never finished your degree, well, SNHU will let you transfer up to 90 credits so you don't have to start over. That's up to 75% of a bachelor's degree and 33% of a master's. SNHU is also radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation, and they have not raised in over 10 years. So if you currently have a 9-to-5 but you're looking to make some change and you want to make the switch to a career in game dev, go to snhu.edu/tamvalley, also linked in my description. Thank you once again to SNHU for sponsoring today's video. Now on to our first region. Finding a long stretch that was the highlight of any Kanto playthrough, much less an individual moment, actually proves to be pretty difficult. As we all know, the games are not really that story-based, and hardly conclude in any climactic fashion, unless you're counting the Indigo League Challenge and the optional post-game journey to find Mewtwo. However, I was determined to find something within the main bulk of the game, and then it hit me. Kanto is known for being somewhat non-linear, a Pokemon game that offers freedom and the chance to uncover the secrets of the region on your own time. But that isn't so for the first third of it. You have a set path from your home of Pallet Town all the way to Vermilion City, encountering the first 3 gyms and brief glimpses of Team Rocket while you build your team in short bursts on small routes, with the exception of Mount Moon. It's almost like this section of the game is the perfect tutorial, letting you briefly encounter wild environments and engage in low-stakes battles with trainers and a few gym leaders. But it's only after Vermilion City that you really get to put what you've learned to the test. First, you head through the Rock Tunnel, a treacherous path filled with even more new and powerful Pokemon like Kangaskhan and Rhyhorn. And it's teeming with trainers, as you brave the elements and see one of the most wild sides of Kanto yet. And your prior encounter with Team Rocket was just a test, as the second you step into Lavender Town, you see the devastating effects of the crime syndicate, since their cruelty has unleashed a fearsome spirit on the tower that you're free to explore yourself, but with no way to solve quite yet. But it's time to press on to Celadon City, a vibrant metropolis, the largest of which you've seen so far. Between its pleasant atmosphere and the local gym, you get a brief reprieve from your trials, but it's soon revealed that Celadon hides a dark underbelly. The game corner holds a sprawling, labyrinthine maze that culminates in an encounter with a shady leader in Giovanni, your toughest opponent yet. After defeating him, you're left with the Sylph Scope. Any other trainer would pick the easy path, continuing on their gym circuit after proving their strength. But you choose the responsible one, returning to the Pokemon Tower for a satisfying and emotional climax at the top, when you defeat the spirit to put it at rest, thwarting Team Rocket once again and finally unlocking the true sense of freedom that you've been waiting for, as now all of southern Kanto is yours to explore. This stretch of Kanto is perfect for that balance of stakes within the story, but also a sense of freedom and ambiguity that makes a trip through this region so special. To me, this section is satisfying in the true high of any Kanto playthrough for that reason alone, but also because it best encapsulates Kanto the best for me. We know Kanto has a repressed sense of darkness, a sense of decay, danger, and mystery to the world. It's up to us to uncover it for ourselves, not because we have any world-ending threat to solve, but because it's our duty as a Pokemon trainer and simply the right thing to do. A journey through Johto can best be described as a walk through the park. That's not to say that it's boring or easy, even if it can be during some weaker stretches of the game, but it's just overall a game built on ambience, the most mellow story, cute Pokemon, and low-stakes battles all scattered throughout a very pleasant and atmospheric region. It feels less like an epic cross-country journey and more like a very consistent, what you make of it kind of outing in the woods. So there's a few possibilities for great stretches to define the best of Johto. But something that always sticks out to me is the portion right after taking care of business in Goldenrod City. After experiencing the bustling metropolis and clearing your third gym badge, just like in the last game, it's finally time to take the reins with your Pokemon journey. You can relish the pristine wilderness of the national park and encounter even more brand new Johto Pokemon before finally stumbling onto Ecruteak City. There's no doubt that any single other city in the Pokemon world does as much for its larger region as Ecruteak does for Johto. Here we absolutely relish the traditional feeling of this town, quite literally steeped in legend. The brass and the bell towers are living reminders that godlike beings lay dormant, and it's up to us to discover their history beyond what we're even told on our first visit here. There's something really magical about this. From here, the second end of this stretch that I'm defining gets a little bit blurry, as again, Johto becomes open-ended here. You can barrel your way towards Olivine where you battle through the gauntlet of the lighthouse, or you can take your time and explore the thick, rugged woods that surround Ecruteak. It's purposely vague and open-ended because I think that best encapsulates what Johto is all about. A journey that's more about the discovery, not of any dark mysteries like its sister region, but instead discovery of yourself as a trainer, the world around you, its beauty and its legends. That nostalgia, that comfort, that magic of the Pokemon world is always best ignited the brightest when you step through the gates of Ecruteak City. Now, Hoenn is nearly the opposite of everything that we've talked about so far, a region perhaps defined by its dynamic highs, both in terms of the landscape itself and the plot experienced. There's so many memorable locations and moments in each Hoenn-based game. Many will identify the epic showdown between the forces of land, sea, and sky as the ultimate encapsulation of Hoenn's highlights. And some might even point to the memorability and pleasure of exploring the tropical Route 119 for the very first time. But I propose a different stretch of gameplay as the most enjoyable part of Hoenn. A common theme for these entries is the moment in-game where you gain an advanced amount of freedom, where there are many paths, long routes for you to explore, or so on. That's harder to find for Hoenn, since you honestly get a very pleasing amount of freedom from the very first badge onwards, so it kind of feels like the game hits its stride early on. So let's think about the moment you clear Mauville City. Up to this point, you've only encountered pretty basic habitats, grassy paths and forests, quaint towns or comfortable big cities, maybe a cave or two. So nothing really prepares you for the moment that you smash those rocks on Route 111, and instead of just another grassy hill, you find yourself embarking higher and higher up. Eventually, the grass stops, and ash starts to fall. Lava pours from the mountain towering above you, and you know the only place to go is up. But first, you venture through these strange ash-fallen lands, finding strange new Pokemon and seeing an incredibly exotic side of the region that almost feels otherworldly. Through caves and hills you go, tracking down the villainous team of your game before facing off against them in a climactic battle at the summit. There's nothing quite like it. A perfect midpoint to your journey and a great test of your abilities as a trainer. This stretch from Mauville to Lavaridge, with all of its winding paths in between, feels so expansive and epic, and it doesn't hurt that you can explore these strange locations like the Route 119 desert, Jagged Pass, and Meteor Falls all on your own. While Hoenn does a great job of building up freedom gradually, this stretch of the game always feels like the moment that I'm being confronted with a wider world, thanks to the rugged beauty of Hoenn. Sinnoh is yet another slow burn of a game like Johto, though with much more plot and an actual climactic ending. The game still feels largely meditative, full of long, slow-paced routes for you to really soak in your Pokemon journey, between stops in memorable, atmospheric towns. But I have one specific moment in mind for Sinnoh, one that was the prompt for this entire video because of how it shaped me as a Pokemon fan. So let me take you back to my personal experiences as a kid, playing Pokemon Pearl for the very first time. You had your second run-in with Team Galactic at Lake Valor, before a third face-off at your hometown Lake Verity. No matter what you do to stop them, it isn't quite enough. Their forces are too strong, and you fear the worst as you're tasked with trying to stop them once and for all up at Lake Acuity. The journey there, as it seems, proves to be incredibly arduous. Your team is stretched thin as you make an incredibly long journey through the caverns of Mount Coronet, overcoming countless puzzles, wild Pokemon, and even the snowy summit. No matter how well you do, the journey just beats you down, giving you a sharp contrast from the high that you felt overcoming the last few gyms in quick succession. Cavern and cavern, there seems to be no end, until one particular door bathed in crisp white light. Out you step into the open field, marveling at the pristine white around you. The snow is soft, the trainers are friendly, there's even a hut where you can rest. Warm yourself for the time being. The blizzard is harsh, but it's nice here. It's pristine, like nothing you've ever seen before. As you make your way higher and higher towards Snowpoint City, no matter how dense the snowfall you trudge through seems to be, there's a certain rush to this, a certain magic. It's a unique landscape, the ultimate reward that really makes you feel like you made the next step in your Pokemon journey. Like this is a wonderland only for the most advanced of trainers who can brave the elements. Between the mountain and routes 216 and 17, this is by far the longest you've gone without being in civilization. But it doesn't matter, because you can feel like you can do anything at this point. By the time you reach Snowpoint City, after the triumphant, jubilant music of this landscape crescendos and then subsides, you're left with quiet. Nothing special awaits you in Snowpoint. All that's there for you is calmness. A gym, a temple you can't access yet, and the most gorgeous view of the gentle snowfall. A quiet solitude and comfort, the opportunity to reflect, and realize the reward up here wasn't a chance to fight Team Galactic, or for you to prove yourself yet again. It was the journey itself. If you can make it all the way up here with your Pokemon, you can do anything. Everything else will be okay. So those are my most special moments on each Pokemon journey. The moment in which I feel like the adventure really comes together and gives you the best feeling you can get from a Pokemon game. What do those moments look like for you? Let me know down below. And a special thanks to my friend and fellow Poketuber SB Juju, who inspired the idea for this video thanks to our conversation on his podcast, which you can check out in the description below. Another thanks to SNHU for sponsoring this video. Please make sure to check out their offerings below with the link in my description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more content.